again. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
It's been a long 6 months since our pewter pirates were on the battlefield, raising havoc on the Oakland Raiders and claiming their long-awaited treasure for the fans of our own Bay Area. Now the real work begins as pillagers from coast to coast stake their claim on our bounty.
Yeah, we know what we have to do to win a championship because we did it. Everybody's got to get ready to play and play lights out because you're the hunted now.
The first step of that title defense takes our heroes halfway around the world to the land of the rising sun. Coming up on this Sports Extra special edition, Bucs Bonus, taking on Tokyo. J.P. Peterson guides us through the Bucs' amazing far-out, far-east three-day odyssey of sushi, sumo, and the unique culture of the Orient's capital city. You'll meet a Bay Area Bucs fan living out his dream in Tokyo and hosting his hometown heroes to a side of Tokyo only a local resident can provide. Head coach John Gruden talks about the challenges of keeping his team focused while they're halfway around the world. And we'll tell you the compelling story of a local Japanese woman who, against all odds, came to Tampa Bay, made the Bucs cheerleading squad, was sent back to Japan, and is now reunited with her team. The Bucs are taking on Tokyo, and you've got a front row seat. And now, from the Tokyo Dome, with the world champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, here's J.P. Peterson.
Konnichiwa from Tokyo and the Tokyo Dome, where the Bucs and Jets will square off in the American Bowl, Tokyo 2003. Good evening, everyone. I'm J.P. Peterson, and welcome to a very special edition of Sports Extra. Bucs Bonus taking on Tokyo. What a long, strange trip it has been from the parades of the Super Bowl championship to here in Japan. What amounts to a 20-hour trip for the Bucs from Tampa here to Tokyo. They've experienced a lot since they touched down here in Tokyo, some Japanese culture. Heck, they've even got some football in. So we want to kind of give you a chronology, a timeline of what the Bucs have been doing since they touched down in Tokyo. The Bucs arrived at the Tokyo Dome Hotel to a warm welcome, but very little fanfare. Just a couple dozen fans looking for autographs. And check out Warren Sapp carefully cultivating his international image. You know, he doesn't sign many autographs. You know that, right?
Yes, really?
Never. You must be special.
Thank you. Oh, I'm biggest fan of him.
Bucs linebacker Shinzo Yamada returning to his homeland, and of course Ronde Barber and his brother Tiki very big in Japan. For most of these players, the 20-hour trip from Tampa left them a bit haggard.
Tired, very tired. You know, it was a long trip, but you know, it's gonna be exciting here.
We watched a lot of movies, just kind of stood around, talked to each other, ate a lot of food, kind of made the most of the trip.
Ronde's nursing a knee injury. He won't be playing Saturday, so he's here to soak up some Japanese culture, and there's no need to waste any time.
Beautiful 15-hour flight to Tokyo, to a beautiful crowded city.
You do sushi?
Nowhere else. Lots of sushi.
Where do you see this place?
Sushi and sake.
Nora Sushi. Come on. Our tour guide is Tokyo resident Jonathan Hamill, a Bucs fan who grew up in St. Pete. Now he's hooked us up at a secluded but chic sushi house where the Japanese Prime Minister has been known to eat. And apparently we're getting the private Prime Minister room to partake in this sushi extravaganza.
We'll now star in the crab brains portion of the show.
And after all this, the main course comes sailing in on 2 pirate ships. A treasure trove of raw shrimp, salmon eggs, and various sashimi, not to mention a Japanese delicacy, raw horse meat. And after the meal, it's the Japanese custom of gift giving for the sushi master and his assistant.
Get off, get off.
The next morning, the first practice at the Tokyo Dome. Notice the rugby-style goalpost field turf as these guys finally get to work up a sweat and play some football.
How does it feel to get back to game action? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I am. You kind of lose that. And that's kind of what I missed all spring. I mean, we had great practices, OTA days, mini camps, and training camp. But, you know, for me, I need different looks. The first 3 games against Philly, against Carolina, against Atlanta, those are 3 totally different looks, three totally different defenses that we're going to face. I need as many looks as I can get right now. This will be kind of similar to our defense in some fashion, but as many looks as I can get, it's going to help out.
It's kind of fun for me getting back out and playing a little bit. And just kind of getting the competitive juices going again, and it's kind of fun to hit somebody else besides your teammates.
That afternoon, time to venture out into the concrete jungle of Tokyo. Just think Manhattan times 20. 12 million people crowded in 800 square miles, full of pop culture, electronics, and the Bucs getting to take a trip to the Sony Center.
Let the clock appear on the screen.
Then some of the offensive line also venturing out, negotiating a very difficult subway system. And, oh, by the way, American football players much bigger than the Japanese. Another popular excursion, shopping at the thousands of electronic stores. The Bucs got their money's worth. Then Thursday night, the official NFL welcome party. It was quite the Enkai. Much more on that later. Then on Friday after practice, it's Fan Day, a chance for some VIPs and Japanese to mix it up with the Bucs. A dream come true for Khalif Williams, a former Jefferson High football player stationed in Tokyo. He got a chance to meet John Gruden. Well, we've obviously done a lot and seen a lot since we touched down here in Tokyo, and I have to be honest with you folks, Tokyo is a huge and very complicated city. If you don't know how to get around, you will not be able to get around. So luckily, we hooked up with a Tokyo resident. He's been here for a couple of years. His name is Jonathan Hamill, and he attended Northside Christian in St. Petersburg. And I can tell you, nobody is happier about the Bucs being in Tokyo than Jonathan Hamill. So what does classical music and the world-renowned Tokyo Symphony Orchestra have to do with the Bucs in Japan? Well, meet Jonathan Hamill, the Bucs Tokyo connection. And seeing his hometown team in his adopted hometown is his idea of a perfect arrangement.
And then, you know, I check out, I see that on the website they're coming to Japan. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, man, they're coming to see me. I felt like it was like just for me or something. You know? So I was totally just really excited.
Jonathan is the principal horn in the Tokyo Symphony, French horn to be exact, the only American in this prestigious orchestra. He's made national TV appearances and is well known as Japan's #1 Bucs fan.
Oh, out of doubt. Absolutely. To this point, I haven't met someone that's as much of a fan as I am, but there may be someone out there, but I doubt it. I mean, I haven't missed a game yet since I've been in Japan listening to the radio. And now this is Boman-san, who is from Sweden.
Jonathan is always trying to convert his friends and colleagues to Buck fans. In fact, Boman-san, the principal cellist from Sweden, has officially been Buckified.
Where Warren?
Yes. Sap.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember we were looking at the Super Bowl at your home.
Exactly. You know, we woke up. This man woke up at the wee hours of the morning, and he came over and watched the Super Bowl with me.
It was the most exciting game I ever saw.
Yeah, he was very excited about it.
Jonathan was composed the same year the Bucs were, 1976, and his mom can remember just how fanatical Jonathan was about his Bucs in those early years.
When the games were on, when he was like in elementary school, he would open the front windows to the house where we had plenty of room in the front yard, and he'd take out a football and he'd throw a football around and he'd listen to the game, and he'd reenact the game in the front yard with all the neighbors listening to the game whether they wanted to or not.
When they first started, even through the bad times, he just watched it all the time on television. We never missed a game, and he became absolutely an habitual Bucs fan.
And yes, Jonathan still has some old icicle orange Bucs paraphernalia, like this classic Trent Dilfer doll.
And it wasn't a loved doll. It was one that got tossed and probably kicked and punched.
Yes, even Trent dolls were never treated very well. But in Japan, Jonathan is certainly well respected. In fact, he has performed on a national entertainment show similar to The Tonight Show.
Yeah, his name is Haneda Kentaro-san, and he has his own music show called Daimei no Nai Ongaku Kai, and our orchestra plays the background a lot. And I've appeared on the show as a guest soloist a few times, and he kids with me and we joke around, and we have a good relationship. You know, I saw him this morning, as a matter of fact. He's, oh, Jonathan, you know.
But the high note of his Japanese adventure will come Saturday when his Bucs perform a perfect symphony in the Tokyo Dome.
You know, I get home maybe once a year to see a game, and of course that's not enough for me. So the fact that they're coming here, for me, you know, to the Tokyo Dome to play, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I could not have asked for more, and I'm really, really pumped up about it.
And Jonathan Son keeps tabs on the Bucs by going to TBO.com. He reads the articles from the Tampa Tribune and watches our sportscast online. All right, of course, the Bucs were in camp for about 10 days before they came over here to Tokyo. For more on that, here's Dan Lucas.
The team last off the field in January was the first to report to training camp in July. Camp Gruden 2003 kicked off on a steamy Saturday morning before a packed house at the Disney Wide World of Sports complex.
You see the fans out there, people cheering you on, you feel got the uniforms on.
And like every NFL team, week one of the preseason is about veterans working out the kinks and unproven players putting their best foot forward.
But definitely some spots to be earned back there in the backfield. All the guys in the backfield know that and understand that nobody's comfortable or content with their spot. So everybody's out here practicing hard, is raising the competition level.
The more than 20,000 fans who attended the first days of camp got to see the imagination of head coach John Gruden. There was Ronde Barber running plays on offense, Booger McFarland and Warren Sapp playing tight end. Even kicker Martin Gramatica got to showcase his touchdown scoring talents. On day 5, the first training camp scuffle.
Normally, right around this time of year, the third day of pads, when you have some live drills, full speed tackling, the spirits seem to pick up a little bit, but that was exciting.
After 10 days at Disney, fans will remember that Disney classic, Beauty and the Beast. Concerning images of Keena McCardell and Ronde Barber nursing injuries, Brad Johnson preventing one by taking it easy, and perhaps the most popular Buccaneer this preseason, Japan's Shinzo Yamada.
Being with the NFL team is, great, and being with the Super Bowl champion team is the amazing experience for me.
And it's only the beginning, because starting next Tuesday, the Bucs are back. Dan Lucas, News Channel 8 Sports.
Thanks, Dan. All right, we've got much more coming up on the show. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to some other football players from Tampa who are competing here in Tokyo, a flag football team from West Chase, and my exclusive one-on-one interview with head coach John Gruden from here at the Tokyo Dome, as Bucs Bonus taking on Tokyo continues.